The cruiser lights snap on without warning, red and blue cutting across the dark highway like blades. Tires hiss as a battered sedan jerks onto the shoulder. Gravel pops under rubber. The engine coughs once, then dies. Silence rushes in, thick and heavy, broken only by the ticking hood and a baby crying somewhere far off in the night. Nyasha Cole is already out of her car before the officer even opens his door. Grease stains her hands. Her hoodie smells like oil and hot metal. She moves fast, pops the hood, and leans in as if the engine can hear her and decide to cooperate. Her breath fogs the air. Midnight sits heavy over the road, empty except for the cruiser idling behind her. The officer steps out slow. His name tag reads, Officer Keaton Brooks. He looks tired, not angry, lonely in a way that doesn't need words. He rests one hand near his belt, the other hanging loose, and clears his throat. "Ma'am," he says, voice steady. "You broke down?" Nyasha doesn't look up. "Overheated. I'm handling it." A beat passes. The cruiser radio crackles and goes quiet again. Keaton watches her hands move with calm skill, loosening a cap, checking lines, wiping sweat with her sleeve. Not many people know engines like this. Fewer women, even fewer single mothers stranded on the side of Route 9 after midnight. "You need help?" he asks. She shakes her head. "I need 5 minutes." He nods, but he doesn't leave. He stands there, road stretching behind him, badge catching the flash of his own lights. Something about the way he watches makes the air feel tight, like a test she didn't agree to take. In the back seat, a small voice whimpers. "Mama?" Nyasha's shoulders tense. She glances back. A little girl with twisted braids and a faded pink jacket rubs her eyes, scared and half asleep. Nyasha softens fast. "It's okay, Zuri. Mama's here." Keaton shifts when he sees the child. His jaw tightens for half a second, then relaxes. "Long night," he says quietly. Nyasha finally straightens. Their eyes meet for the first time. Streetlight, cruiser flash. His face comes into focus. Her breath stops. The world narrows to one detail after another. The scar near his eyebrow, the shape of his mouth, the eyes she once knew so well she could read them in the dark. Heat rushes to her ears. Her hands start to shake. Keaton frowns. "Ma'am, you all right?" She knows that face. She has never forgotten it. Not through eviction notices, not through late shifts. Not through crying alone in the bathroom so Zuri wouldn't hear. Before the silence can break, let me pause you right here. "Hey, I'm really glad you're here. Be honest, have you eaten today? What did you have? Tell me that, your location and the time. And if you're new, don't leave without subscribing. It feels empty when you come in and leave without saying a word." Nyasha forces air into her lungs. "I'm fine," she says, but her voice sounds chusha even to herself. Keaton steps closer, concern plain now. The cruiser lights wash over him again. Zuri leans forward, peering between the seats. Her eyes, his eyes, catch the light. Keaton freezes. He stares at the child, then back at Nyasha, then at the child again. Something clicks, slow and painful, like a door he never meant to open. "How old is she?" he asks. Nyasha closes the hood with a sharp slam. Metal echoes down the empty road. She meets his stare, steady now, fire behind her eyes. 6, she says. The radio crackles. A dispatcher calls his unit number. Keaton doesn't answer, because in that moment, standing on the side of a dark highway, he realizes this stop was never random, and the truth he ran from just pulled him over. Keaton's hand snaps up to his shoulder mic like it burns. The dispatcher calls his unit again, sharper this time, and the sound cuts through the highway quiet like a knife. He presses the button, but no words come out at first. His eyes stay locked on Zuri in the back seat, on those gray eyes that look like a memory he tried to bury. "Unit 12, confirm status." Keaton finally breathes. "Traffic stop, vehicle disabled, 1 adult, 1 child. Stand by." His voice sounds normal, but his fingers shake as he releases the mic. Nyasha watches him closely. She doesn't move toward him. She doesn't step back either. Her stance is wide and solid, like she's ready for anything. Like she has been ready for anything for a long time. Keaton swallows and forces his gaze away from Zuri. He steps to the front of his cruiser and kills the flashing lights. The road instantly feels darker, more private, more dangerous. "Do you have somewhere safe to go tonight?" he asks. Nyasha's mouth tightens. "Home." "Where's home?" She hesitates half a second, like she's deciding what parts of herself he gets to know. "Worcester." Keaton nods once, slow. "That's a long way on a hot engine." Nyasha turns back to the car, opens the driver door, and reaches for her bag. Her keys jingle loud in the silence. "I'll figure it out." Keaton steps closer, not too close. "I can call a tow." Nyasha laughs once, short and dry. "Tow money doesn't grow on trees." That hits him harder than it should. He looks down, then reaches into his pocket and pulls out his phone. The screen lights his face. A family picture is set as the wallpaper. Him, a little boy, and an older woman with silver braids smiling wide. The boy's gap-toothed grin is bright enough to make the night look less cold. Nyasha sees it. Her eyes flicker. "You got a kid," she says. Keaton locks his phone without answering. He shifts his weight, like he wants to talk and hates himself for wanting it. He points toward the back seat. "She's tired." "She's scared," Nyasha says, and I don't blame her. A gust of wind pushes across the shoulder. Zuri pulls her jacket tighter and whispers, "Mama, who is he?" Nyasha doesn't answer right away. She looks at Keaton, then at Zuri, and her voice drops low. "He's just a cop helping us." Keaton flinches at the words, "just a cop," like it doesn't match the storm inside him. He clears his throat and steps toward Nyasha's engine bay again, crouching down. The light from his small flashlight sweeps across hoses and clamps, across the wet shine of coolant. "Pop the cap again," he says. Nyasha pauses. "You know cars?" "I know enough," he says, and the way he says it feels like there's more he isn't saying. He twists the clamp tighter with his own hand, careful, steady, like he's trying to fix more than a radiator line. Nyasha's eyes narrow. "Why are you doing this?" Keaton doesn't look up. "Because I'm here." A beat, then another. The highway breathes around them. Far off, a truck passes like thunder. Nyasha leans in, voice sharp. "You keep looking at my daughter like you've seen her before." Keaton's flashlight hand freezes. His jaw works like he's chewing on a truth that tastes bad. He finally stands, the light catching his badge, then his face. "I need you to tell me something," he says, quiet but firm. "Right now." Nyasha doesn't blink. "Say it." Keaton takes one step closer and his voice drops even lower. "What's her birthday?" And before Nyasha can answer, Zuri speaks up from the back seat, clear as day, innocent and trusting. "It's March 5th, she says. Keaton's face drains. His eyes sting like he's about to break, because that date hits him like a punch, and he knows exactly why. If you're still here, don't go anywhere. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next part gets even tighter. And this story is going to leave a mark. And in the comments, tell me, if you were Nyasha, would you tell him the truth right there on the roadside, or would you make him suffer first? A black SUV idles across the street, engine low and steady, headlights off. Inside, 3 figures lean forward as one, faces lit by the glow of a phone balanced on the dash. The camera is already recording. The red dot blinks once, twice, patient. "Zoom in," mutters Darnell Price from the driver's seat. His smile is tight, sharp at the edges. "I want to see his face." In the passenger seat, Corvin Maddox adjusts the angle, pinching the screen with thick fingers. "Man, look at him," he says. "All soft, all hero." He snorts. "This is gonna be good." In the back, Shaheem Knox lets out a low laugh. He leans back, arms crossed, like he's already won. "Told you he'd stop," he says. "He can't help himself. Always gotta play savior." Across the street, under the dim streetlight, Keaton stands stiff beside Nyasha's car. His head is bowed now, like the weight of the night finally caught up to him. Nyasha's voice carries just enough for the wind to steal pieces of it. "Don't ask questions you're not ready to hear answers to," she says. Darnell grins wider. "Oh, he ready," he says. "He just don't know it yet." Corvin taps the screen. "You sure this is worth it? A kid's involved." Shaheem's eyes harden. "That's the point. You want the board to move, you put pressure where it hurts." Darnell nods. "Promotion's on the line. Captain wants clean records, good optics. Brooks got both." He chuckles. "Let's see how clean he looks when this drops." Back on the shoulder, Keaton drags a hand down his face. The air feels thin. His chest tightens like he forgot how to breathe right. "March 5th, he repeats, barely louder than the road noise. That's my..." Nyasha cuts him off. "Don't finish that." Zuri watches them through the rearview mirror, eyes bouncing between faces, sensing the shift. Mama? She whispers. Nyasha turns back to her, forcing a smile that doesn't quite land. Baby, stay buckled. Keaton steps back like he's been pushed. He shakes his head once, then again, trying to clear it. This can't be coincidence, he says. It's too much. Nyasha's voice drops, sharp as glass. You don't get to decide what's coincidence anymore. From the SUV, Corvin lets out a low whistle. Oof, she got fire. Darnell leans closer to the screen. Good. Makes it louder when it breaks. Keaton's radio chirps again, another unit checking in. He ignores it. His eyes stay on Nyasha, searching her face like it holds the answer to everything he's missed. I didn't know, he says. You have to believe that. Nyasha laughs, and this time there's no humor at all. Belief don't change what happened. Zuri shifts, restless. Her small shoe taps the back of the seat. Mama, can we go? Nyasha nods. Soon. Keaton glances up and down the road, then back at Nyasha. Let me get you off this shoulder, he says, at least to a safer spot. She hesitates, long enough for the men in the SUV to lean in even closer. That's it, Shaheem says. Walk her right into it. Darnell's finger hovers over the screen. Wait for it. Nyasha finally nods. Fine. Keaton moves toward his cruiser, reaching for the door. When a car passes too fast, horn blaring. The rush of air rattles Nyasha's door and makes Zuri yelp. Keaton spins back, heart slamming, eyes wide. Hey, he shouts after the car, anger flashing hard and fast. The phone camera catches it all, the shout, the fear, the crack in his calm. Darnell's grin turns slow and satisfied. Got him! Because from their angle, it looks like chaos, like loss of control, like a story they can sell. And none of them notice the tow truck turning onto the road, amber lights glowing, until it's already too close to stop what's coming next. The tow truck rolls up fast, amber lights spinning, tires crunching gravel as it pulls in front of Nyasha's car. The sudden brightness makes Zuri shield her eyes. The driver hops out, heavy boots hitting the ground, clipboard already in hand. You the breakdown? He calls. Nyasha nods once. That's us. Keaton steps aside, clearing space like he's trained to do, but his eyes never leave Zuri. The child leans forward again, curious now, fear easing just enough to ask the question sitting on her tongue. Why are you shaking? She asks him. Keaton stills. His hands curl into fists at his sides. He forces a breath through his nose. I'm okay, he says. Sometimes grown-ups get cold. Nyasha shoots him a look that could cut steel. She crouches by the back door and meets Zuri's eyes. You're safe, she says, firm and soft at the same time. Mama's got you. Across the street, the SUV's engine hums lower. Darnell leans back, satisfied. Tow truck's perfect, he says. More witnesses, more angles. Corvin frowns. She looks like she knows him. Shaheem tilts his head, watching. Yeah, that's the pressure point. The tow driver opens Nyasha's hood and whistles. You push this thing hard, he says. Lucky you didn't blow it. Nyasha shrugs. Luck's not something I count on. Keaton steps closer to her, lowering his voice. I'll follow the truck. Make sure you get home. Nyasha straightens. No. He blinks. No? I didn't ask for an escort, she says. I didn't ask for anything. Zuri's eyes move between them, reading tension without knowing the words for it. She grips her stuffed bear tighter. Mama, he's sad, she whispers. The words land like a weight. Keaton's jaw tightens. Nyasha's chest rises and falls once, slow. Zuri, Nyasha says gently, look out the window. Zuri obeys, nose pressed to the glass. Keaton's voice cracks just a little. I didn't know about her, he says. If I had, Nyasha steps closer, invading his space now. You don't get to rewrite time, she says. You don't get to stand here and act like this is about you. The tow driver clears his throat, uncomfortable. I'll get you hooked up. As he works, Keaton glances back toward the road. For half a second, his eyes catch the dark shape of the SUV. Something about it feels wrong. Too still. Too interested. He reaches for his radio again. Dispatch, can you run plates on a black SUV parked across from my stop? The response crackles back delayed. Stand by. Inside the SUV, Darnell stiffens. He looking our way. Shaheem smiles. Too late. The tow truck finishes loading Nyasha's car. The driver gestures. You can ride with me or wait for another car. Nyasha doesn't hesitate. She opens the back door and lifts Zuri out, settling her into the tow truck's passenger seat. Zuri waves once, small and unsure, toward Keaton. He lifts his hand, then lets it fall. Nyasha turns back to him, face closed off now. This ends tonight, she says. You don't follow us. You don't call. You don't pretend this is some story you get to fix. Keaton swallows. I can't pretend I didn't see her. Nyasha's eyes flash. That's your problem. The tow truck engine roars to life. Amber lights spin again, washing over Keaton's badge, over Nyasha's face, over the watching SUV. As the truck pulls away, Keaton's radio finally speaks. Unit 12, that SUV you called in, plates don't match the vehicle. Keaton's stomach drops. The tow truck jerks forward into traffic, amber lights cutting a slow path through the dark, and Keaton's cruiser pulls out behind it without thinking. His tires hum louder than the engine. His eyes keep bouncing between the truck and the clock on his dash. 12:41 a.m. The numbers feel loud. Every second feels counted. The radio crackles again. Unit 12, confirm pursuit. Keaton grips the wheel. Not a pursuit, he says. Escort, vehicle safety. He doesn't add anything else. He doesn't say her name. He doesn't say the child's. Inside the tow truck, Nyasha braces one hand against the dash as they merge. Zuri sits tucked close, chin resting on her bear's head, eyes wide as she watches the cruiser's headlights in the side mirror. Mama, she whispers, he's still there. Nyasha exhales through her nose. I see him. The driver glances over. That your friend? Nyasha shakes her head. No. Back on the road, shoulder they left behind, the black SUV eases out of its spot and follows at a distance, lights still off. Darnell taps the screen again, jaw tight. He took the bait. Corvin watches the gap between vehicles. We keeping pace? Yeah, Shaheem says. Nice and clean. Keaton checks his mirror and catches the shape of the SUV slipping into the lane. His pulse jumps. He keys his mic. Dispatch, I've got a vehicle tailing my escort, requesting timestamp. Copy, dispatch replies. Stand by. The clock flips. 12:42. The tow truck hits a pothole. Zuri squeaks and grabs Nyasha's sleeve. Nyasha steadies her, heart thumping. She leans forward. How much longer? 10 minutes, the driver says. Maybe less. 10 minutes feels like an hour. Keaton closes the distance slightly, not enough to spook the driver, enough to be seen. He flashes his brights once, a warning more than a command. The SUV hangs back, patient. Inside it, Darnell smiles thin. He knows. Good, Shaheem says. Let him sweat. Nyasha's phone buzzes in her pocket. She ignores it. Then it buzzes again. A number she doesn't recognize. She silences it without looking. Zuri tilts her head. Mama, why's your hand shaking? Nyasha stills it against her thigh. Cold, she says, the same lie Keaton used earlier. The tow truck turns onto a quieter stretch, streetlights farther apart now. Houses sit back from the road, dark and asleep. The clock reads 12:45. Keaton's radio breaks the quiet. Unit 12, additional unit is 10 minutes out. 10 minutes, same number. The math hits him hard. He glances at the SUV again. It closes the gap by a car length. Stay back, he mutters, not sure who he's talking to. Nyasha looks back through the tow truck's rear window. The cruiser is closer now. The SUV is closer too. Her jaw tightens. Driver, she says, don't pull over no matter what. The driver frowns. If that cop signals, I said don't, Nyasha says, voice firm. Zuri presses her face to Nyasha's side. Mama, I don't like this. I know, Nyasha says. I got you. Keaton flips on his rear lights for half a second, then off. A warning meant only for the SUV. The SUV doesn't flinch. The clock flips again. 12:46. Darnell's phone buzzes. A message pops up from a contact labeled Captain. He doesn't open it yet. He watches Keaton instead. Almost time, he says. Keaton's pulse pounds in his ears. He keys his mic again. Dispatch, I'm going to need that unit now. Closest unit still 8 minutes, dispatch replies. 8 minutes. The number feels cruel. The tow truck slows for a red light. Nyasha's heart jumps into her throat. The SUV closes in. Keaton pulls up behind the truck, blocking space, his cruiser filling the lane like a shield. Zuri looks back and sees him clearly now. She lifts her hand and waves, small and unsure. Keaton sees it. His chest tightens so hard it hurts. The light stays red. 30 seconds feels endless. If you're feeling this pressure with them, don't drop out now. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens when this light changes. And in the comments, tell me, if you were Keaton, would you break the rules to protect a child, or trust the system and hope it arrives in time? The light snaps green. The tow truck lurches forward, slow and heavy, metal chains rattling like teeth. Keaton hits the gas just enough to stay tight behind it, his cruiser filling the lane, daring anyone to slip between. The SUV hesitates for half a second, then surges forward too, engine growling low. Nyasha's stomach drops. She grips the edge of the seat as the truck clears the intersection. "They're still there," she says. The driver glances in the mirror, eyes narrowing. "That don't look right." "No," Nyasha says. "It doesn't." Zuri presses her face into Nyasha's side. Her small fingers clutch fabric, knuckles pale. "Mama, my heart's going fast." Nyasha wraps an arm around her, pulling her close. "Mine too," she says, honest this time. "But listen to me. You stay quiet, okay? Just breathe with me." In the cruiser, Keaton's jaw locks. He reaches down and flicks on his dash camera. A small red light appears, recording, timestamp locked. His hand moves next to his radio, hovering, waiting for the right second. The SUV drifts closer, edging toward the left like it's testing space. Keaton nudges his cruiser over, blocking it without crossing lines. His siren stays silent. His pulse does not. Inside the SUV, Corvin's smile fades. He's not panicking. Darnell watches the screen, eyes sharp. He's thinking. Shaheem leans forward. Then we push. The SUV's headlights flash once, bright, aggressive. Zuri flinches. "Mama!" Keaton sees the flash and snaps. He taps his horn, sharp and loud, then keys his mic. "Dispatch, hostile driving behavior. I need backup now. Unit 12, nearest unit is 4 minutes out," dispatch replies. 4 minutes, still too long. The tow truck slows slightly as the road curves. Houses thin out, trees crowd closer. The dark feels heavier here, pressing in. Nyasha leans forward. "Don't slow down," she tells the driver. "Please." The driver nods, foot pressing harder. "I'm not stopping." Keaton glances ahead, then back again. The SUV's grille fills his mirror now. Too close, too bold. He flicks on his rear lights again, this time holding them. Red and blue wash over the SUV, a command without sound. The SUV doesn't stop. Darnell laughs, low and mean. "There it is. That's the clip." Keaton exhales once, long and controlled. He reaches up and turns on his body cam too. Another red light, another witness. He speaks clearly, voice steady. "Black SUV, pull over now." The words hang in the air. The SUV drifts back, just enough to pretend compliance. Nyasha watches the lights reflect off the trees, off the tow truck's mirrors, off Keaton's windshield. Her mind races, old instincts waking up. She looks at Keaton through the glass, really looks at him this time. The way his shoulders stay squared. The way his hands don't shake now. Zuri peeks out again. "Mama, he's helping us." Nyasha doesn't answer. She can't. The SUV suddenly swerves right, like it's going to pass on the shoulder, then snaps back into lane. The move is reckless, loud, meant to scare. Keaton reacts without thinking. He swings his cruiser wider, fully blocking the lane, tires humming, engine roaring. He plants himself between the SUV and the tow truck like a wall. The move is clean, legal, on camera. Corvin curses. "He boxed us." Darnell's smile fades. "That's not in the plan." Shaheem's eyes narrow. He's protecting, not chasing. Keaton's voice cuts through the night again, louder now, commanding. "Last warning, pull over." The SUV finally slows. Not all the way, just enough to change the rhythm. Nyasha feels it shift, the pressure, the tone. Something about the night tilts. The clock on Keaton's dash flips. 12:50. Backup is close. The cameras are rolling. Witnesses are awake. And for the first time since this started, the people who thought they were in control realize the story might not end where they planned. Keaton's cruiser jerks to a stop sideways across the lane, tires screaming for half a second before gripping the pavement. The move is fast, clean, final. The SUV has nowhere to go. Headlights wash over red and blue lights, over tree trunks, over the stunned faces inside the truck. Everything goes quiet. No horns, no radio, just engines idling and breath moving in chests that forgot how to slow down. Nyasha's fingers dig into the tow truck seat. Her pulse hammers so loud she swears Zuri can hear it. "Don't move," she whispers, more to herself than anyone else. Zuri nods, eyes wide, body still. The world outside looks frozen, like a picture paused in the worst place. Keaton steps out of his cruiser. His door shuts with a heavy thud that echoes down the road. He plants his feet, shoulders squared, hands visible. His body cam light blinks red, recording everything. No room for games now. "Driver of the SUV," he calls out. His voice is calm, strong, nothing shaky left. "Turn off the engine. Put your hands where I can see them." Inside the SUV, Darnell's smile is gone. His face tightens, jaw locked. "He's making this official," he mutters. Corvin swallows. "We should have pulled back." Shaheem doesn't answer. His eyes flick to the camera still running on the dash, then to Keaton standing there like a line drawn in the road. The engine clicks off. Doors stay closed. Keaton takes one slow step forward, boots crunching gravel. His eyes sweep the vehicle, then flick past it for half a second, checking on the tow truck, on Nyasha, on the child inside. Nyasha meets his gaze through the windshield. For one brief moment, the world shrinks to just them. No uniforms, no past, just two people standing on opposite sides of a truth that's been waiting a long time. Zuri breaks the silence. "Mama, is he mad?" Nyasha swallows hard. "No," she whispers. "He's focused." Keaton reaches the SUV's driver door. "Open it," he says. The door cracks open. Darnell steps out slowly, hands raised, face tight with forced calm. "Officer, there's been a misunderstanding." Keaton doesn't respond. He motions him aside, then signals for the others. One by one, Corvin and Shaheem step out too, hands up, faces stiff. The dash camera catches every angle. "You were following a disabled vehicle," Keaton says, "driving aggressive. Explain that." Darnell lets out a small laugh, fake and thin. "Man, we were just worried. Saw the lights. Thought we'd make sure everything was okay." Keaton's eyes flick to the still-running phone mounted on the dash, the red dot blinking. "What's that recording?" he asks. Darnell hesitates. Just a breath. Too long. "Turn it off," Keaton says. Corvin shifts. "It's nothing." Keaton steps closer, his presence heavy now. "Turn it off." The phone clicks dark. The tow truck door opens. Nyasha steps down carefully, Zuri in her arms now. She stands back, not crossing any lines, but close enough to be seen. Her hoodie flutters in the night air. Her face is hard to read. Keaton sees them, and his chest tightens again, but he doesn't turn away from the SUV. "Dispatch," he says into his mic. "I have 3 individuals detained for questioning." The reply crackles back. "Copy. Units are 1 minute out." 1 minute feels like a year and a second all at once. Nyasha shifts Zuri's weight. The child watches everything, quiet, taking it in. "Mama," she whispers, "why do they look scared?" Nyasha presses her lips together. "Because sometimes," she says softly, "people don't like being seen." Keaton hears it. The words hit him harder than any accusation could. His eyes flick back to Nyasha again, and something old rises up. Images he never meant to keep. A small apartment, boxes half-packed, a phone that never rang again, a choice he told himself was temporary. His jaw tightens. He forces his focus back to the present. The sound of sirens cuts through the night. Another cruiser pulls up, then another. Back up at last. Red and blue lights fill the road, turning the trees into shadows that jump and fade. Darnell's shoulders sag as another officer steps up. "You guys picked the wrong night," the officer mutters. Keaton exhales slowly, the pressure in his chest easing just enough to hurt. Nyasha takes one step closer, stopping at the edge of the light. "This doesn't change anything," she says, her voice low but steady. "What happened before still happened." Keaton nods once. "I know." Their eyes meet again. The space between them feels charged, unfinished, because now the danger on the road is over. And what's left is the truth. The backup cruisers settle into place, engines idling, lights spinning slow now, no rush left in them. The road feels different, safer on the surface, heavier underneath. Officers move with quiet purpose. Cuffs clicking, radios murmuring low. Darnell's mouth keeps opening like he wants to argue, but nothing comes out. Corvin stares at the ground. Shaheem looks straight ahead, jaw set, eyes cold. Nyasha stands with Zuri on her hip just outside the bright wash of the lights. The child's head rests on her shoulder, small fingers knotted into the fabric of her hoodie. Zuri's eyes stay open, watching everything, missing nothing. Keaton steps back from the SUV and hands control over to the arriving sergeant. He finally allows himself to breathe out. The air feels sharp in his lungs, like the night has teeth. "You good?" another officer asks him under his breath. Keaton nods once. "Yeah." It's a lie, but it's the kind that keeps things moving. The sergeant glances at the phone pulled from the SUV, now bagged. "Looks like they were filming you," he says, "and her." Keaton's stomach drops. He looks toward Nyasha. She already knows. She can see it in his face. "Filming what?" she asks, stepping forward just enough to be heard. The sergeant hesitates, then answers. "The stop, the escort, everything." Nyasha's grip tightens on Zuri. "Why?" The sergeant's eyes flick to Keaton, then away. "That's what we're about to find out." Darnell finally finds his voice. "This is crazy," he snaps. "We didn't do anything illegal." Nyasha turns toward him fast. Her eyes are sharp, tired, done. "You followed my child in the dark," she says. "You filmed us without consent. Don't talk like you're the one confused." Darnell scoffs. "You don't even know what this is about." Nyasha steps closer, stopping only when an officer gently lifts a hand. "Then explain it," she says. "Say it out loud." Darnell opens his mouth again, then shuts it. Shaheem shifts beside him, the smallest shake of his head. Keaton watches the exchange, chest tight. He recognizes the posture, the silence, the calculation. He's seen it before, in rooms where careers get decided, in hallways where truth gets traded for quiet. The sergeant clears his throat. "We're going to need statements," he says. "All of you." Nyasha exhales, slow and controlled. "My statement is simple. I was broken down. He helped. They followed." Zuri lifts her head. "They scared me," she says softly. Every adult in earshot stills. The sergeant looks at her, then at Nyasha. "Thank you, sweetheart," he says. "That matters." Keaton feels something twist in his chest. Pride, guilt, something worse. The tow driver coughs from beside his truck. "I saw it too," he adds. "That SUV was riding us hard. The pieces line up fast now, too fast for anyone to pretend they don't fit." An officer approaches Keaton and speaks low. "Internal Affairs is going to want this footage," he says. "Looks like they were trying to catch you doing something wrong." Keaton nods. "They won't find it." "No," the officer says, "but they might find something else." Nyasha hears that part. Her eyes narrow. "What does that mean?" Keaton hesitates. He looks at Zuri, then back at Nyasha. The past presses up against him, loud now, demanding space. "It means," he says carefully, "this won't stay on the road." Nyasha's laugh is quiet, sharp. "It never does." The sergeant steps in again. "Ma'am, we'll need your contact information. There may be follow-up." Nyasha nods and hands over her ID. The sergeant scans it, then pauses, eyes flicking up to Keaton, then back down to the name. "Cole," he reads. "Nyasha Cole." Something shifts. Keaton feels it before he understands it. The sergeant looks at him. "You know her?" Keaton swallows. The truth sits heavy on his tongue. Cameras, officers, his child standing 10 feet away. "I do," he says. Nyasha's eyes lock onto his. "Careful," she says quietly. The sergeant straightens. "We'll talk about that later," he says. "For now, let's clear the scene." The officers begin to move again. The SUV is loaded. The tow truck gets the signal to continue. The night starts to loosen its grip. Nyasha lifts Zuri back into the truck. The child looks over her shoulder at Keaton one more time. "Bye," she says. Keaton nods. "Be safe." As the tow truck pulls away, Nyasha doesn't look back. Keaton stands under the streetlight, badge heavy on his chest, knowing this night is far from over. Because now there's footage, names, a past that refuses to stay buried, and the next conversation won't happen on the side of the road. The courthouse lobby hums with low voices and echoing footsteps as Keaton pushes through the glass doors. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead. His boots squeak against polished tile. Every sound feels louder than it should. The clock above security reads 8:12 a.m., and he feels like he hasn't slept in days. A uniformed officer nods at him. "They're waiting." Keaton nods back and heads down the hall, past framed photos of past chiefs and faded plaques nobody reads anymore. His chest feels tight, like a weight is pressing right on his badge. Inside a small conference room, the air is stale. A long table. 3 chairs on one side, 2 on the other. A laptop sits open, screen dark, red dot waiting. Nyasha sits straight-backed in one of the chairs, hands folded tight in her lap. Zuri is beside her, feet dangling, swinging slow. She hums to herself, low and off-key, drawing circles on the table with one finger. Nyasha doesn't look up when Keaton enters. The door clicks shut behind him. "Have a seat," a woman says from the far end of the table. Her tone is flat, professional. She wears a blazer and carries a thick folder under one arm. Keaton sits. The woman flips the folder open. "We'll get right to it," she says. "Last night's incident triggered an automatic review." Nyasha finally turns her head. Her eyes meet Keaton's for half a second. No anger, no warmth, just distance. The laptop screen lights up. Video starts playing. Grainy at first, then clear. Keaton sees himself on the road, the tow truck, the SUV, his own voice steady in the dark. He watches the moment he blocks the lane, the moment he turns on his camera, the moment Zuri waves. The room stays quiet. "Officer Brooks," the woman says, "do you recognize this footage?" "Yes," he answers. Simple, direct. Nyasha's jaw tightens as the video jumps to the SUV angle. Their whispers, their laughter, the following, the flashing lights, the truth laid bare without commentary. Zuri stops humming. "That's them," she says, pointing at the screen. "They scared us." The woman pauses the video. "Thank you," she says gently. "That helps." Keaton feels a small shift in the room, a tilt, like a scale starting to move. But then the woman clicks another file. A still image fills the screen. A much younger Keaton, a much younger Nyasha, standing close, smiling. A date stamp glows in the corner. Nyasha inhales sharply. "This," the woman says, raises a different set of questions. Keaton's hands curl under the table. "That was before I was an officer," he says, "and before I knew I was pregnant," Nyasha says quietly. Silence slams into the room. Zuri looks between them. "What does pregnant mean?" she asks. Nyasha closes her eyes for a second, opens them. "It means you were growing," she says softly. The woman leans back, studying them both. "Officer Brooks," she says, "why did you leave?" Keaton's throat tightens. He hadn't expected the question to come so fast, so clean. "I thought I was doing the right thing," he says. "I was wrong." Nyasha lets out a slow breath, eyes fixed on the table. "That doesn't erase years," she says. "No," Keaton agrees. "It doesn't." The woman closes the folder. "This review isn't about your past relationship," she says. "It's about your actions as an officer." She looks at Nyasha. "And your safety." She looks at Zuri. "And yours." The clock ticks loud on the wall. Every second feels earned. "From what we see," the woman continues, "you acted within policy, possibly beyond what most would." Keaton's chest loosens just a little. "But," she adds, "this situation isn't finished." Nyasha finally looks straight at Keaton now. "I didn't come here to protect you," she says. "I came to protect her." Keaton nods. "I know." The woman stands. "There will be follow-up," she says. "For all of you." As they rise from the table, Zuri slides her small hand into Nyasha's. She looks up at Keaton one last time. "You did good," she says. The words hit harder than any accusation. Keaton watches them walk toward the door, knowing the hardest part isn't behind him. It's just beginning. The elevator doors slide open with a soft chime, and Nyasha steps out fast, Zuri's hand locked in hers. The hallway smells like cleaner and old paper. Shoes scuff behind them. Voices echo. The courthouse is waking up, but Nyasha's world feels narrow, tight, focused on the small weight in her palm. "Bathroom," Zuri says, tugging. "Please." Nyasha pivots without slowing. She pushes the door open with her shoulder and steps inside, the fluorescent light snapping on. The mirror shows her face pale, eyes rimmed red. She splashes water on her hands, steadies her breath. Zuri climbs onto the sink edge, legs swinging. "Mama," she says, quiet. "Why was he crying with his eyes?" Nyasha freezes. Water drips from the faucet. She turns it off. "Because sometimes grown-ups carry things too long," she says. Zuri thinks about that. "Did he carry me?" Nyasha meets her gaze in the mirror. The question lands heavy. She crouches, eye level now. "I carried you," she says. "Every day." Zuri nods, satisfied, then frowns. "But he helped last night." Nyasha presses her lips together. She doesn't answer right away. She wipes Zuri's hands, dries them, moves with care like every motion matters. "Helping once doesn't erase before," she says. "But it counts." Outside the bathroom, Keaton paces near a bench, hands clasped behind his back. Officers pass. Some nod, some look away. He keeps his eyes on the floor until he hears the door open. Nyasha steps out first. Zuri follows, jacket zipped crooked. Zuri spots Keaton and stops. Nyasha stops too, tension snapping tight between them. Zuri breaks it. She walks up to Keaton, slow, careful, like she's approaching a shy animal. She looks up at him. "Do you know how to fix bikes?" she asks. Keaton blinks. Yeah, he says. "I think so." "My chain comes off," Zuri says. "Mama fixes cars. Bikes are different." Keaton nods. "They are, but I can learn." Nyasha watches, arms crossed now. Her guard stays up, but something inside her shifts. Just a hair, just enough to notice. Zuri smiles, quick and bright, then grabs Nyasha's hand again. "Okay," she says. "We gotta go." Nyasha turns to leave. Keaton clears his throat. "Nyasha," he says. She pauses but doesn't face him. "Don't," she says. "Not here." He nods. There's a school bus stop on Maple, same time every morning. I won't cross lines. I just want to be near. If you say no, I'll listen." Nyasha finally turns. The hallway feels too open, too many ears. She looks at him for a long second. Then she looks at Zuri. "Maple," she says. "Once. We talk after." Keaton's breath catches. "Thank you." She doesn't answer. She walks away, Zuri skipping to keep up. Keaton watches them disappear down the hall, knowing this is not a victory. It's a doorway, narrow, fragile. The precinct briefing room smells like burnt coffee and old carpet. Chairs scrape as officers settle in, low talk cutting off when the captain steps through the door. Keaton stands near the back, hands clasped in front of him, eyes forward. He hasn't slept. It shows in the tightness around his eyes, the way his shoulders stay locked. The captain doesn't waste time. "Last night's incident is no longer just a traffic matter," he says. "The 3 civilians detained were found in possession of recorded footage intended for distribution. The footage was edited, context removed." A murmur ripples through the room. "They were attempting to provoke misconduct," the captain continues. "Specifically from Officer Brooks. Keaton feels every head turned toward him, some curious, some impressed, some guarded. Internal Affairs reviewed the full body cam and dash cam," the captain says. "No violations. In fact," he pauses, "your actions prevented a dangerous situation from escalating." The room goes quiet. Darnell's name appears on the screen behind the captain, along with Corvin's and Shaheem's. Charges listed underneath: harassment, reckless endangerment, illegal recording. "They're done," someone mutters. Keaton exhales slowly. The knot in his chest loosens, but it doesn't disappear. Relief mixes with something heavier. Because this isn't just about him. The captain's gaze sharpens. "However," he says, "this department will not ignore personal history that intersects with duty." Keaton's stomach tightens again. "Officer Brooks," the captain says, "you should have disclosed prior connection once you recognized it." Keaton nods. "I know." Silence stretches. The captain studies him for a long second, then looks back at the room. "Disciplinary review will follow," he says. "But that doesn't erase good policing." The meeting breaks. Chairs move. Conversations restart, louder now. Keaton steps into the hall, phone already buzzing in his pocket. A message from an unknown number. Maple stop. 7:15. No name. No extras. His chest tightens, then steadies. Because the men who tried to tear him down failed. But the harder test, the one that can't be handled with cuffs or cameras, is waiting on a quiet street corner with a yellow bus and a child watching who shows up. The air is cold at the Maple bus stop, sharp enough to wake anyone up. Morning light spills over quiet houses and parked cars. Leaves scrape the sidewalk. Somewhere a dog barks once, then stops. Keaton stands across the street, hands in his jacket pockets, doing exactly what he promised. Not too close, not hiding, just present. At 7:14, Nyasha arrives with Zuri. Zuri's backpack is almost as big as her. Nyasha's shoulders are tense like she's ready to turn around at any second. Zuri sees him first. "He came," she says. Nyasha nods. "I see." They stand in silence. Other parents drift in. A woman scrolls on her phone. A man sips coffee from a travel mug. Nobody knows what this moment costs. Keaton steps closer, stopping a full arm's length away. "Morning," he says. "Morning," Nyasha replies. Zuri rocks on her heels. "You said you fix bikes," she says. Keaton smiles, small and careful. "I did," she beams. "Mine's blue." Nyasha exhales, long and slow. "Listen," she says to Keaton. "This doesn't mean we're okay. It means I'm watching." He nods. "That's fair." The bus appears at the end of the street, loud and bright and unavoidable. Zuri hugs Nyasha tight, then surprises them both by hugging Keaton too. Quick, honest. "Don't disappear," she says. Keaton swallows. "I won't." The bus doors open. Zuri climbs aboard, turns and waves until the bus pulls away. Nyasha and Keaton stand there after, the space between them full of things unsaid. "We'll take it slow," Nyasha says. "For her." "For her," Keaton agrees. They part without promises, without hugs, without pretending the past didn't happen. But both of them look back once before they leave. Because sometimes closing a chapter doesn't mean a perfect ending. It means choosing to show up tomorrow. If this story stayed with you, take a second and subscribe, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments. Stories like this remind us that accountability, growth, and love aren't loud, they're consistent. And you never know who needs to hear that today.